number one, if you're not interested and you're not passionate, don't even start.
Yes,
Don't,
100%.
Don't even. It's not fair on yourself. It's not fair on your family. It's a labour of love.
Yeah, that's so true. Dan from Primal Coffee Roasters, welcome to Local Roots.
Thank you so much. A bit of an honour, a little bit nervous, but definitely an honour. Thanks for inviting us out.
Yeah, no worries. It actually is such an honour to have you here as well.
Stop it.
Yeah, we were talking a second ago, and I was saying we haven't had anyone from a hospitality full background, very similar to us, on the podcast yet. So it's really exciting to have somebody that I can bounce back and forth and understand what you're going through and what I'm going through and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. It's excellent. And, I mean, our essence and our trademark is coffee is the conversation. So
I love that.
I'm in my element.
I went in the other day, 3 days ago, I think it was, to your espresso bar and got a coffee, and it was so lovely. The coffee is always so lovely. And I saw that on the wall. And that's the first time I've ever seen that. I know it's everywhere. But I think it's just that light bulb moment. It's it sticks with what you guys stand for. And that's incredible.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So what I want to talk to you about today is I want to hear your story, about your business, because I know you've been in business for a long time. And did you start as an espresso bar, then decide to be a roastery, or?
No, the other way around.
Roastery, then espresso bar?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll start from the roastery where it started. Yeah. Even if you were younger and that was the point that you realized you wanted to do a business, talk from then. Tell me the story, for anybody that is interested and passionate about it, they want to hear it.
Well, number one, if you're not interested and you're not passionate, don't even start.
Yes, 100%.
Don't even. It's not fair on yourself. It's not fair on your family. It's a labour of love.
Yeah, that's so true.
And you've got to love it. And luckily for me, I love it.
Yeah, you do. You can see that.
It's one of the most rewarding experiences to date is knowing that your kids, like my daughter, she wrote me a letter and said that, and it was so proud that I followed my dream, and that to see and to be part of that was so, she was very proud and so emotional for her. So yeah. Oh, there you go. I'm starting straight right in deep to the emotions.
That's so good. That's so good. I love it. I love when we talk about the realness of it. And you do have a family. I don't have a family. My sister has a family. It's a whole different kettle of fish.
What do you mean? This is your family.
But and I do it with my family. But having children and raising children while you run a business. Yeah. Talk to me about that. What's that like? What did you learn?
Well, it's okay. Let's roll back. I'll take you back. So people say to me, "Why coffee? How'd you get into coffee? And what was the ignite, the spark that led to creating? It's fun in business to move into a business and buy a business, start a business, but to be able to build and shape and create a brand, create flavours, create profiles, create." An essence. Oh man, that's next level. It's been what a journey, and it started from drifting through roasters all around the world. Through Indonesia, through Malaysia, and South Pacific mainly, all through Australia, and just falling in love with roasters themselves, the people.
So you would visit them?
Every time, every opportunity. I worked. I was lucky enough to work dream jobs most of my life. Mate always said to me, "You're the luckiest bloke I know, because the harder you work, the luckier you get."
That's good, though.
And it's a great feeling to be able to have a job that. I started as a chef in submarines. I spent time in the military, and that was good. It was 10 years, and I'm proud of that. It was a great time, and it's nice to have that as part of it. But I didn't know that was shaping me for future jobs. From there, I went into oil and gas. I was FIFO, international FIFO, doing construction and oil and gas drilling, and so some wild jobs, riding helicopters to work, and just real
That's
cool
fun, though,
stuff. And I didn't realise that it was so fun, and I didn't have I didn't realise it was so different till I was talking to a friend one day, and his son sort of stopped mid-conversation and said, wow,
Yeah.
you've been on a submarine and you're flying a helicopter to work.
Polar opposites.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, right, yeah. So I take a bit of pride in the life lessons that has happened so far, and everything that I've sort of dreamt or thought, I wouldn't mind that. It's everything's come true.
Yeah,
everything.
wow.
No matter how big the dream was, to the point of something as simple as, I wanted to work drill rigs, I wanted to work on a cruise ship, I wanted to fly international, I wanted to open cafe, I wanted to do something. Yeah.
Can I ask a question here? Do you think it was because you didn't doubt yourself and you also saw and had confidence that it was going to happen and you didn't doubt it? Or was it like...
I think the belief in myself didn't come till later, till probably I had kids.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Because I never thought about it. I just knew that I came from working families.
Yeah.
Mum and dad both very hard workers, great role models, and I knew that if I wanted what I wanted, I just had to work for it.
Yeah,
Simple
cool.
as that.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard. So I learnt really young that strong work ethics was very important and got you through it. Going back into, I suppose, working into oil and gas, and I was working with a guy that I was known as Coffee Dan. I'd fly to a rig, fly to a job.
Already before you had anything coffee related?
I had a dream.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew, and my mates chuckle, they're like, oh yeah, you were talking about a coffee shop 20 years ago. But I worked with a guy on a ship out of Asia somewhere, and I turned up, flying in, helicopter on board, minimum bag, but a little espresso machine.
I love that.
Yeah. He's turned up with these bags of coffee, just brown paper bags.
Did he know you had a machine?
No. Never met him before.
Oh,
so
right.
he's turned up, he's on this rig, and he's got these brown bags with just writing on it, Brazil, Colombia. And I'm like, what's going on there? He goes, well, if I can use your machine, you can drink the coffee. I'll supply the coffee. You got the machine.
That's great,
perfect.
yeah.
So it was a match made in heaven. And obviously over the years working with him, he told me about his little design, a bread baker, a heat gun, and gave me the details on how to make a home coffee roaster.
Right.
So I started roasting coffee out of a bread baker with a paint stripper heat gun that I pulled apart, rewired to control the paddle.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere, hey? I think that's the most important thing.
I remember the panic with me and my mate in the backyard, out the back docks of Freo. We were running around trying to work out, are we burning? We're going to burn the place down because this smoke was bellowing in this junk. It was messy, it was horrible. And we failed a lot. Yeah. But then, it just... the interest took over and the flavours started to come through, and I was roasting coffee from all around the world, and I was doing 600 grams at a time, and it was just fascinating. It just got me, because the coffee, the flavour nodes in a coffee are so broad. I think something like 1,600 flavour nodes. Yeah. So what's that mean? Well, it means that wherever the coffee's grown, wherever it's produced, whatever hybrid it is, whatever strain, it's going to influence the flavour.
That's crazy.
Like, wow,
That's
okay,
insane.
cool. So then I'd get a coffee from Ethiopia, I'd get one from Papua New Guinea, one Colombia, all around the world. And that's what's exciting now is at any moment, somebody in their lounge room can have the world's best coffee from anywhere around the world delivered within a few days.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. And that's good, because that keeps me very, very accountable.
Yeah.
So I've got to be on the top of my game, but also know that the excitement of flavour is so expansive. Expansive. So that's where I started roasting, and that was probably, I suppose, about 15 years ago now.
Yep.
And friends and family just I'd give out coffee.
Yeah, it was like your passion. You just did it.
I'd turn up. People turn up with a bottle of wine. I'd turn up with a bag of coffee.
Yeah, it's like
I still do it today.
trading.
Still do it today.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Barter system works. It's no longer a carton of beer. It's a kilo of coffee.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it's.
I was
awesome.
actually talking the other day with the coffee culture in Australia. It's unlike anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I haven't traveled very much, but I have heard we have a lot of travelers that work for us. The coffee culture in Australia is beautiful because, you love a great cup of coffee, but you sit down and you want to have a conversation. You really want to talk over it and enjoy it. And, like, there's not a lot of things in this day and age that you can actually sit face to face and have a conversation, but coffee is one of them. Yeah. Like in America, it's a grab and go situation, and I think it's a bit different, the flavors in Italy and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think that that's like something that makes me really proud to be an Australian, is the coffee culture that we do have and how much cafes are like all over the place.
Well, it's important, and the beauty of what you guys do, it's the same. You are creating the community, and you know, I have the opportunity, and it's an honour to be able to walk into people's dreams. You know, Dan, can you? We're thinking of open a cafe where we need, you know, a coffee machine, and you know, can you give us some advice? Can you come talk to us and tell us what you do? I said, as a matter of fact, I'd love that. So to be able to be part of that, and the importance is understanding and them realising that in a community, a coffee shop or the cafe or espresso bar is only as good as, well, is only effective, or does it only ever survive if the community supports it?
Yes.
That's how important it is, you know.
100%.
And I say to the baristas, it's no matter what happens on the crop, no matter what happens with the farm and the generations of them with their farming and the hybrid variety and how well I roast and the quality that comes to the table, it's all up to that barista. And don't think it's a pressure that I'm trying to put on them for stress.
No,
it's just an understanding
beautiful.
that
it's
people come past 6 or 7 coffee shops to come to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
For a reason. Maybe the coffee's good, I'd like to think so from Primal's point, but it's also about the vibe and the feeling. They walk in and they feel...
Yes.
We've got customers, they come in half hour earlier, they get up half hour early, come in just to sit down so they can pre-people.
Yeah.
They come in, they sit down.
Yeah.
There's always a chat, there's always a conversation, there's always a vibe happening in the cafe, and then they can, okay, right, now I can take on my day.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, man,
it's like a warm hug in the mornings to get you started for the day.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that you can serve okay-ish food, okay-ish coffee, but if your standards of your team and your customers and stuff like that, you'll be well known. Oh. But if you serve great food, great coffee, plus that, you'll be known everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's just, I think a lot of places do one really well, and that's understandable because running a business is hard. Yeah. And you like a puppet being pulled in all kinds of directions. But like, being able to ace that, and I'm really grateful, like you have your family as well. I'm really grateful to have my siblings that they can help with that, and we can all take on an area. But yeah, it's tough, especially in this day and age.
I would not be where I am now. I've got an amazing partner, Tamara. Yeah. She is, she's the you know, the anchor. No, definitely, she's the rudder.
Yeah,
she keeps me, because you'll know by this conversation. Yeah. She's like, come on, let's get back on track.
Yes.
You know? Probably, and you know, there's nuggets, like I said, with what my daughter said. Tamara said to me a few years ago, she said, Dan, know your worth. That was the biggest learning I've had in business. You know, because then I contemplated, you know, because no one's ever said that before. Yeah. You know, but once someone says it, and then I was
especially
contemplating.
Especially someone you love and care about.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, shit, all right. There's work to do on that. So, you know,
Did you find that once you, like, after that stepping stone, because that's huge, I think that's underrated, the way that business actually shapes you and molds you into a better person, because you're very humbled and you're surrounded by these incredible people that you want to do good by them. Yeah. Once she said that to you, did you find that that was like a bit of a push of like, okay, like I've got to get the ball rolling and start working on myself and stuff like that? Did that?
Oh, I'm a forever. I'm one of these forever chipping away at myself. But it was a very good moment to take so take heed and look and say, okay, what am I? Who am I as a businessman in a growing business? And it made me sort of, I think, put checks and balances into the point where I don't want to do this business wrong, because now it's bigger than me. You know, I want PRIMAL now. It supports 11 people. It's you know, so for me to ensure that I'm not making the wrong choices or making errors along the way, it was humbling and a really good time to be able to say, okay, let's ensure that what I do I replicate every single time.
Yeah, that's good.
You know my worth in a conversation with a business.
Yes.
And it's a ruthless industry. Coffee industry is ruthless. It's huge. One of the most traded commodities on the planet. You know, and when we talk of coffee, I've just now locked out 6 months into the future on a commodity traded price today.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big gamble.
Yeah.
You know, so we're watching what the environment does, we're watching how that affects commodity, how that affects coffee production. So that rolling right back into today and making sure those decisions are right, and challenging, having customers challenge me for a dollar value. If I didn't know my worth and I didn't have check and sort of said, well, hang on, I know who we are as a business. That's where we stand.
That's so true. Yeah, especially and knowing the background of where your ingredients come from and stuff like that, and being proud in that stuff, then you can also stand there and be like, I'm charging this much because I'm supporting such and such and such. Like, it's bigger than what the customer can see. And I think that being able to tell that story is really powerful. And we've been trying to take that on a little bit more lately. We just feel like there's a little bit of uneducation around why prices go up and like stuff like that. People just think we want to rip people off, and it's like,
it's a tough one, because I think people are still blaming COVID, and it's out there, and people are out there just jacking prices because they can.
They can, yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
That's not in my DNA. We very much understanding of the karma philosophy. That works well for me. And as a yoga instructor as well, I'm not going to work. That keeps me humble. That's that in itself. Best decision I ever did was trying to understand the philosophy of a Hindu yoga practice. And then bringing that philosophy, or that, I suppose, fundamental into a business. I like to think it's a great place to work, and that rolls on through. I suppose we're pretty lucky with all our staff that they like to work with us.
Well, you're great people. Why would they not? Definitely. I've worked with you at the Grounder Festival and stuff like that, and you're great to work with, and very passionate. And I think that it becomes like infectious. Like when I'm talking to you about coffee, especially, it's like, and you love to help. Like, I called Dan one day. Wes was on holidays, I don't know where, and I couldn't get a hold of him, and the grinder was busted, and I was like, Dan, please come. I need help. And he's like, all right, FaceTime me, let's sort this out. And we fixed it. And it was fine for the next day. So you guys do have very kind and giving hearts.
And that's important. That's part of our philosophy in ensuring that, you can't, what's the point of having a great run in business without helping and being part of the journey.
Before, you mentioned that you failed a lot of times with your mate, with coffee roasting and stuff like that. Can you touch on that for people that are giving it a go? And you breezed over it. Like, we failed a few times. I think sometimes failure can be the stopping of somebody's greatness. So touch on that and how that shaped you. It opened more pathways. Failure is awesome. Failure means you're having a go, not knowing the rules, or you're just having a go. I'm big picture. I like to sort of start running tomorrow, or say, pull me back a bit and say, like, okay, that's great, and let's look at the steps on the way. And I'm a sort of a big picture, let's go bull at a gate and have a crack. And that works well
you know, I'm probably up there about 80-90% of the time.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's about, you know, Michael Jordan's awesome. You know, dust yourself off. It's about getting up.
Yeah.
You know, for me in business, right at the time that I was learning to roast, the oil industry had stopped. Western Australia, where I was, you know, working at the time, dried up. I had a number of properties. Everything just hit rock bottom at the same time.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a job. I was losing property left, right, and centre. And we're trying to beat the market by selling on the way down. So it was a fire sale, and through that, I was working construction on a high rise, which was a dream. I always wanted to work high rise construction. I got given a job by my dad. He threw me a lifeline. No, I couldn't get a job. I was really in a great position with one of the biggest oil companies in the world, doing the best job on the planet, offshore construction and drilling. Awesome. Yeah, I'd made it.
That's the one with your dad, or that's the one that fell
through?
through?
That was the one that it stopped. Once the oil price dropped out, everything stopped.
It just, wow.
So then I was living with a mate, you know, bum in a room. I think I divorced a year earlier, so I was having the girls on the weekends. I was working construction, teaching 9 classes of yoga a week, and just trying to pull through. I remember one day I was on the floor crawling up the passageway of his, banging on his door. I couldn't breathe. Anxiety had just crippled me.
Real.
Oh man, it was intense. He put his arm around me and said, "Mate, we've got this." The moment that happened, like I knocked on the door, he opened, he saw me, and I'm like, I just can't breathe, mate. I don't know what's happening. He put his arm around me and said, "We've got this." The moment he said,
what a great friend.
Oh, best mate.
Awesome.
Would you Simon, shout out to you, buddy. Love you.
Would you say that he's like family to you?
Oh yeah. We're worse than family. He's We've done life's full of great opportunities, great experiences, and amazing friendships.
Yes,
if
100%.
you just tear your heart out, slap it on your sleeve, and just go all in. And that's how I love. That's how I friend. And just don't hold back. So luckily for me, he was there for me, and that moment he put his arm around me. That moment he said, "We got this."
You were okay? Yeah. You just needed someone in your corner.
Yeah. So from there, I roasted coffee, and I was working construction, and one morning I got a phone call, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there, high rise, top of the high rise, working under the crane, rigging and craning on construction. And I was a safety...
Taking business calls.
I was a safety manager for big oil companies, and I was, you know, like shit kicker on a construction site. But I didn't care.
Humbling.
And you know what? The funny thing about it was I got to work with my dad again after about 30 years.
Yeah.
We fought the last time on site when I was a kid. We had a fight on site. Never worked with him again. And then I worked with him, and I saw him in this light in front of, and I remember sitting there one morning, he's talking, giving the kick off to everyone, talking to him through, and all the respect that I saw from these guys to him, it was such a proud moment. It was beautiful. So, so 6 o'clock in the morning, sun's coming up, Perth City off in the distance, the breeze just kicking through enough to not hear anything. I get a phone call from my uncle. "Hey mate, how you going?" I said, "Oh yeah, chasing the hook on construction site." I said, "What's up?" He goes, "I need you for a job over in Whitsundays." I said, "Oh yeah, righto. When do you need me?" He said, "Yesterday."
Oh.
Geez, all right. I said, "Well, give me a minute." So I hung up, rang my daughter, got them both daughters there. I said, "I've been offered a job over in Queensland. It's for a 3-month period, but you can come over midway through in 6 weeks. What do you reckon? Can we go to the Whitsundays, Dad?" "Absolutely." "Yep. All right, let's do it."
That's beautiful.
So I rang him back. I said, "All right, when do you want me?" He goes, "We're booked a flight for tomorrow."
He'd already done it?
Already done it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's incredible.
Knew. So I flew over, worked with him. was did the 3 month, then came back.
Yeah.
His manager, one of his business partners rang me, said, we'd like to offer you a full-time gig back over here. We know you got kids in WA, so you'll do 3 weeks here, go home for 2 weeks, do a bit of.
Was this in Airlie?
Yeah.
Were you roasting?
No, Mackay. No, I was still. I was roasting.
You were roasting for them?
No. This is working construction.
They want you to work construction.
Construction. Oh, I'm still working
okay.
construction.
And you're roasting on the side.
I'm roasting on the moonlighting back in WA, roasting. Still for family and friends. And then I got picked up by one coffee van. They said, can you do 10 kilos of coffee? My uncle, same uncle, gave him a sample.
Thank God for that uncle.
Oh, man. The stories aren't kidding. It'll continue. So I'm like, they're like, can you do 10 kilos a week for us? Sure. Never said no. And along the path and the yoga and all the stories, I learnt not to say no.
Yeah.
I learnt to say, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, let's see how that goes.
I'm going to quote that.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
Let's see how that goes, you know. And I probably learnt that from my kids.
Yeah.
Because it was, if I said no, they knew it was no, and there'd be tears. Dad said no. Well, but I said, all right, well, let's see how that works out. You know, and then they're like, okay, all right, well, that's a maybe. Cool.
Yeah.
So 10 kilos of coffee, flying back, I'd roast the 10 kilos.
In what, WA?
30 kilos, sorry. I'd roast back WA, be there for the week, roast 30 kilos, 1 kilo at a time.
Wow.
On a
In your
little
bread
baker. Carry that back, flying on the plane. And
Sorry.
I did that for, it would have been a few months. And probably about 5-6 months. And then it was just like, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
What stopped me was I got picked up by another customer, just 5 kilos a week, 4 or 5 kilos a week.
A cafe or another van?
No, it was just a workshop.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Doing, their crib office area.
And did you have any branding happening at this point or anything?
Yeah, it was a stand. I made it on Canva.
You made...
Sorry, Jody Euler and Red Hot Blue. So that was the start. And, you know, Primal had already branded. Primal, the name I had in 2015.
You did?
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Well, it came from understanding myself, understanding the roots of I was sort of into a bit of organic. I went through an organic phase. I went through a veggie phase, and really challenging myself all the way through. And found along the way, there was a gentleman called Mark, anyway, from the States, and he had a primal footprint, which was wake up, ground yourself, wake up,
love that,
push yourself, get out in the bush, take the shoes off.
Yeah, that's good.
And so from there, primal to me was about when the coffee came to it. It was about understanding the importance of the human and the essence of where it all comes from.
Yeah, that's great.
Especially in coffee, really understand. I was lucky enough to have a friend, or met a guy that became a friend over in Indonesia who had a coffee plantation, and they are really the fundamental, the steps, the foundation steps and starting point for me to really understand how important coffee is to the world, because in a third world, on the $2 and $3 a day paycheck, what we can give back, and we're only talking $2 or $3 a kilo, $4 a kilo, getting a bit better now, to support that community, because that supports the water, the medicine, the schooling, the housing, all in the community. Just simple drink.
Yeah, I love that.
Thanks for
it's
coming.
so good.
It's important to follow your passion, follow your dream, but not at the cost of your own health, stress, livelihood, and it's going to be tough. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
You've got to do the work.
Yes.
So I ground in the morning. I drink the Celtic salt. I look after myself. I teach yoga. I do yoga. Go to Pilates. today alone, probably a bit over the top, but, you know, started off with grounding,
Yeah.
then did my salt, my minerals, all that, then went to Pilates, had my catch up with my crew in the morning,
Yeah.
you know, guys going on a ride, so we're sending him off. And that's important.
Espresso crew, like those
Yeah,
ones?
yeah, catch up there.
Yeah, that's great.
And then went to work did a few hours of work, then chiro, physio.
Sounds like the dream day.
It is.
Looking
Friday's
after
the dream
yourself
day.
like crazy, yeah.
And that's important. And the reason I do that, then back to work for another 3 hours, then went to ice cold therapy.
Do you go to
Base?
Base? Yes, yeah, he's great.
So cold therapy.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy, another
Yeah.
champion. you
Yeah,
know.
he's
so
great.
just another driven lad to
Yes.
go, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
And then we're from Base.
In the car to here.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you're grounded. You're ready for the day.
So that sets me, and that means I can run and do the hours I do. You know, so from the small little single car garage and a 5 kilo roaster, we outgrew that at 50 kilos. It was too much. I couldn't keep doing that. Well, at the time I was doing construction up in Townsville, driving up Sunday night, Monday morning to kick off the crew at 6 a.m. Through to Friday, kick them off at Friday, then drive back Friday, roast on a 5 kilo roaster, actually up to 150 kilos I got. So I'd be roasting all Saturday, kick off like 5:36 Saturday morning, roast through to 6, 7 o'clock that night, then finish off and bag Sunday, ready to drive out Sunday nights.
Wow.
Back to
How long
to
did you
site.
do that for?
I think that was about a 4 or 5 month contract, yeah.
And the espresso bar wasn't open then yet?
No,
though?
no.
And then when did it open?
So
Because
from-
add that to this.
From there, COVID hit. I'm like,
yes.
I can't. This is too big. I can't.
Yeah.
It's too not too big. This space is too small. I'm getting too big for this space. I've got to get out. And I'm talking green bean bags of coffee, cups, syrups, powders, all
It's a
stored
lot.
up in this tiny little space.
Yeah.
I'd move 3 things to do one thing. I was getting fit because there's 60, 70 kilo bags of coffee. It was good, but. The circumstance had changed where I couldn't run the little espresso bar in there, have that manned while running the roaster out the back and do construction.
Yeah,
so
that's so true.
okay, I need a bigger shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll move into Evan Street.
Which is where you are now?
Where we are
Yeah.
now, espresso bar there. We'll set up in-shop roaster.
In where?
In where it is. So where the roaster is there, I used to roast.
Wow.
Yeah, so I signed the lease, all good, bang, COVID hit. The landlord rang me, said, "Dan, we won't hold you to it." I said, give me a minute.
Yeah.
You know, so I sat with it for a bit, sat actually on the front, a little park bench there near the laundromat and eating a pizza. I'm sitting there going, no, righto. Yep.
Let's do it.
Whatever talks to me, and I tell you, I have massive conversations with the ether. Whatever it is, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I park my brain, and I'm pretty attuned now, and it comes in pretty loud. We're on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're on. COVID hit. Okay, I've got to go see my girls. They're going to shut the borders. Okay,
Yeah, it
I've
was
got to go
very
to
scary,
WA.
yeah.
So I signed the lease.
Yeah.
I'm off to WA.
Yeah.
Flights cancelled, everything. I got stuck in WA. I'm like, I can't. I've got to get back. I've got to open a cafe. Plus, I was still working construction. Let's get going back. So I jumped on a bike, had a Harley, rode across Nullarbor, swag on my way back, and got
That
back.
is so cool.
Got back, and one of the bosses at the time said, "Oh, you need to isolate." And I'm like, "No, mate, I've been on the Nullarbor on a Harley.
I didn't touch anyone. Yeah.
Man, that's a pretty isolated place." So lo and behold, I took some leave, finished the fit out of the cafe. At the same time, my old man was travelling Australia. He's a builder.
Wow.
Thanks for coming. So he's there helping me out, built the cafe, got it up and running. My mate said to me, Uncle Pete's best mate said to me, "If I pay you, can you take my daughter and give her a job?" And I'm like, "Mate, you don't have to pay me. I need someone. Bring her in. I'll teach her how to make coffee."
Yeah.
No, it's April.
April.
Still
No
here today.
way.
Yeah. She loves that
She's
story.
incredible.
Absolute.
What a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's
now you pay her.
Absolutely. Big time. She's worth more.
Yeah, always. We feel like that here
But
too.
so lo and behold, I had her. I had one other staff member coming in, and myself. So we kicked off, and we were from day dot 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 Sunday. We haven't closed a day since. Been running
Consistency is
4
key.
years. Absolutely.
100%.
So Christmas Day, we put on a big spread. We have heaps of snacks there because there's a lot of people still working Christmas Day.
Yeah,
there's
there
single
is.
guys, there's single families, there's mums and dads, there's people
Do
maybe
you still
finding
do
it a bit
that?
tough. Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm
Every
working
Christmas.
this Christmas.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I'm working this Christmas.
That's so cool
yeah.
though. Like
So,
it's like what do they call Orphans Christmas?
Yeah,
Like it's when people.
Well, and that's why I don't have now. I've got a huge family with all the community.
Yeah.
We have a great Christmas. It's
That's
good fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Do you do it in the
Presents
shop?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
does it
put
get
tables-
cramped?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So lo and behold, COVID hit. Cafe got opened. Started roasting in the cafe. 150 kilos a week.
Wow.
We roasted Monday, and I'd knock that out on the 5 kilo machine and take 10 hours roasting.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
And it was hot.
Yeah,
And,
no airflow, aircon, anything.
I
in there.
remember to this day, one of the regulars come in, Jodie, she said, so you've got to have it this hot in here when you roast because of the beans. I'm like, no, not at all. She said, why isn't aircon on? I said, because I'm roasting. I said, what's the matter?
Yeah.
I don't feel the heat.
Yeah.
And she's like, what about your baristas? And I looked over and they're all sweating. It's so hot. I'm like,
bless.
all right, okay, yeah, turn the aircon on. Yeah.
But
So-
did you have one and you just didn't use
yeah,
it?
never used it because I was roasting. You get
You
so
were
used.
already so sweaty, yeah.
Well, no, you're just used to the heat. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
It's like people working out in the sun.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
true.
get hot.
Boilermakers, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't get hot.
Yeah.
So there we're roasting and in the cafe, and I'll be roasting there, and next minute someone will walk up behind me, and I'll be like, scare the shit out of me.
Because you're in your flow state.
I'm roasting. You're full on. You're on. There's no, so every minute and a half, 2-3 minutes, there's an adjustment.
So you can't really be distracted. You
No.
can't, Yeah. So you're like,
But
I'm
I
so
was
sorry, I
then-
can't talk right now.
Yeah, so I'd be mid-roast, okay, all right, I've got 3 minutes to...
And someone wants to talk to you.
Or I'd have to run over and make a coffee.
Oh, no.
So I'll be making a coffee,
That's
watching the
crazy.
dials, watching the time. I had it up on the screen on the TV.
Were you like scatterbrained? Like
I was...
frizzled?
It's like... And then go home, then do the accounts, and then you've got to do pays,
Oh,
then you've got to
yeah.
do... So it was a one-man show, just flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
Luckily, still did yoga, still taught yoga,
Yeah.
got heavily involved. Out of that time that my mate grabbed me, I got heavily involved in men's mental health and dove deep, really into trying, okay, what can I do to help? Because just that one arm around my shoulder,
Help
lighten the load.
Yeah.
So luckily for me, I love yoga and I love a chat. We developed a men's group. We've got a men's yoga broga. Primal broga. Yeah.
So
and-
good for you.
Oh, it's necessary for men. You know, you've got to have a mate that can have a conversation to you about you, the highs, the lows, the heartaches, the pains, the love, the excitement, when they're not drinking.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, grab a beer, go and have a good time. That's great,
Don't depend on
but
that.
be
though.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important. So back to the
Roastery,
the
and
roaster.
you're running around.
Yeah, still like a headless chook. We grew out of it. You know, we got too busy in there. I couldn't keep doing it with the customers and the green bean storage. I had tons of beans. Luckily, great landlord. Chippy was in between tenants, two down. I said, mate, can I just chuck a shelf in there and put some beans in there? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, sure, Dan, no worries. Till I said, I'll move out when
Someone
somebody
comes,
comes.
yeah.
He's, yeah, no worries, Dan. A few weeks later, he turned up and the place was chocolates.
Full of beans.
Full of beans, full of cups. I had my Harley in there. It was just non-stop. It was chocolates. So we started to outgrow it. And through the track, one morning out the back, I saw a couple of apprentices loading up and cleaning up out the back. I said, oh, what are you boys doing? Having a tidy up? He goes, we're moving out. Straight on the landlord, I'll take it. So we took the shed out the back.
Yeah, which is where you went into next. Yeah.
Bought the bigger roaster, 3 times the size, put the roaster out the back. Beautiful, we had space.
Yeah.
Yeah. A year later, We're
So
running out of
wild.
space.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So then we jumped onto the bigger place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is that located in Mackay?
Prospect Street, 24 Prospect Street.
Yeah, right.
So
cool.
around the corner.
Can people
Yeah,
visit it? Or
Yeah,
it's-
yep.
Yeah.
So that's where we got the Barista Training Academy. So like you
Yes.
said, learning, we had to, along the way, I was needing to ensure that all the businesses coming online with Primal really understood the training aspect and the barista training. And everyone can go do a barista course, but with me it's different. You know, the first thing I say to people, first thing is when the customer comes in, understand that you don't know what morning they've had, you don't know what they're up to, you don't know what's going on in their life. They're coming there. You know, so the first thing you ask is, morning, how you going? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. How do you like your coffee?
Yeah. Really connect.
Yeah. Ask them, how do you like well, do you like it hot? Do you like it sweet? Do you like it, it's important to understand a flavour profile or an understanding to try and guess it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. But
So when did you get out of the espresso? Was it when you moved over there or when you were at the back of?
Yeah, so I still worked pretty full on. When I brought in a manager to start to run the cafe.
Yeah, right.
And once that happened, that was hard to
Let go? And
like when you have such a high expectation of coffee going out to be, and we've gone back to traditional, cappuccino's not a flat white with chocolate sprinkles.
Yeah.
Understand the foundation, and we go back to the Italian tradition. A bit of Spanish influence comes through, but really give the customer what they want.
Yeah, that's good.
And know what coffee is and where the tradition is. Macchiato, geez, how many interpretations of that are there? And that's about the conversation. People will come in, can I get a
you
short
want to give
Mac?
them what they want. Yeah.
Where you from?
Yes.
Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide.
Yeah.
Or WA. 4 different versions of macchiato.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. So we align ourselves with a traditional, which is still interpretive. Is it a ristretto or is it espresso for the macchiato?
Yeah.
So, or the piccolo. Just different interpretations along the way. So we shape it to try and stick with the traditional.
Yeah.
So to bring a manager in and have all the baristas working in under this same system where the standards don't drop. That was important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you find the perfect manager? What was the... Did you know them or it was like a...
Well, I learn as much about management and employing from our first manager as I do now, the second one, and all the staff moving through.
Yeah.
I've got 15, 14-year-olds right through to 30, 40-year-olds, which communicate worlds apart, totally different. And predominantly, mostly female. We had one male barista, or a couple of male baristas along the way. They're totally different ways of thinking, working, and communicating.
Yeah.
I'm very direct in my communication skills, which doesn't work with young teenage girls.
Yeah.
I'm very direct in my communication skills, all my methods with my staff and all my people, which works well with some people and not with others. So it was really listening and understanding Tamara again, my mentor in communicating and slowing me down to the point to take on board the response. Okay, and ask them back, did you get what I'm saying? And they're like, no. They just be nodding yes, Dan. And I'm like, I'm not the ogre boss, but in their eyes, 15-year-old boss, I get it. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Sure.
so putting the manager in and ensuring the standards were met was rewarding, and I suppose knowing and accepting that and finding it was
the main thing to focus on.
Yeah. It gave me freedom to be able to work on the business. And I suppose, again, another little grab is ensuring that as business owners understand what their plan is, I mean, you don't need a rock solid dollar for dollar plan unless you're Wes. I was talking about that the other day, his plan, and Man, that's brilliant. I've learnt from Wes to put
That's
things
so
a bit more
cool.
dollar for dollar.
What
and
did
a
he
bit more
tell
bit-
you? Was it the video?
No, your original one from over the back, the plan for the future, and
Oh, yeah, but
he's-
we're dreamers.
Absolutely.
Too much so.
But you've
Like,
got
it's-
to, and what I've learnt along the way is you have to put pen to paper. Who cares how big
Yeah.
the dream is? Dream a better dream. Dream a bigger dream. Get wild. Get ridiculously artistic in your dreams. Throw out. Never ever put rational thinking in a dream. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's great. Okay, well, we're on the right path.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
We like all of us siblings were raised very. Actually, it's interesting because my dad is very planner,
Yep.
like plan everything. But we're all very big dreamers, and I sometimes wish one of us was at least a logical or like all right, like what you have with your partner, like pulling you back into line, like having that. Sometimes we just go so extreme that we have to like we've gone too far before we realize okay. Ground ourselves now. We need to think of like what's going to make it viable for now and then focus on that when we can.
Yeah.
Otherwise your dream just gets like, I think that there's a really healthy harmony of it, not like a one or the other, because dreaming is so important and it keeps you fueled. Like
it's what ignites you. It's what gets me. Another. So cold shower in the morning as well. That's another one. For your
I've
punters.
heard that one. It's really good for your skin too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and hair.
That's
Makes
my
your hair grow.
priority. Is,
Not balding?
Youthful age. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. Checking in on the plan.
Yes.
And rehashing it doesn't have to. So 1, 3, 5 year, and then boost out past that. So we're just redoing our 5. The 10s in there is a bit of a glimpse down the track,
Cool.
but the 1, 3, 5s are important. And for me, I don't get caught up on the small stuff. I'm a big dollar, big picture. Basically, green beans rules my financial benchmark, and understanding dollar for dollar, cup for cup. So seeing Wes put his and really break down that cup dollar for dollar. When I do my meetings with my customers, or when I'm catching up and we're having our kickoff, I drum into them. They've got to understand their plate charge, their cup charge, and know when they're making money.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing that you do that. You pretty much do coaching with installing coffee machines. That's insane.
It's that calm and greed I talk about. Because if you're selling coffee, I'm selling coffee.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's so true.
And that is my fundamental that gets me through the hard drives, the long drives, the hard work, maintenance on machines, and having to train to do maintenance on machines, burning yourself, pushing me through, knowing that if I get this machine back up and running, this customer's selling coffee, their business, they're paying their rent, they're paying their staff, they're open another day.
You also get to pay your bills. Like,
big time.
Win-win, totally.
Yeah. And in that, it's important to know and support the community as a business. So for us, we have a lot of home businesses that supply to us.
Yeah, right.
We have some mid-level businesses local. We have some big businesses local that supply and support us. And we have some big business, international and national, that support us.
That's incredible.
Now, we pay. The moment the invoice come in for the small businesses, bang, they're done. They're paid. And we look at, and I've talked to, and I've got great partnerships with our mid-level local businesses and bigger, and we talk to them about terms. We talk to them about 30 and 60-day terms, and the bigger businesses, we talk to them about partnerships. So they're investing in my business by giving me long lead terms, so I can continue to turn over a product and continue to look forward, knowing that they've got my back.
That's good. That's really good.
And that's the community here, and you don't get that in the big cities.
No, definitely.
You've got to have 10 years trading before these companies will take. And understandable, they're risking because of that. So Mackay in itself and the region the Whitsunday region, the Bowen Basin, the Greater West, and the Central, and now we're moving into the North Coast.
That's
We're lucky. Yeah, we just got back from Port Douglas.
I love Port Douglas.
Call out to Nourish. Those guys are rock stars.
Nourish?
Yeah, Nourish Wellness. It's a yoga studio, cafe, wellness cafe, organic grocer, just opened today.
I was there like 4 weeks ago. I wish I knew.
Yeah,
right? Like they wouldn't have been open, but like still.
Yeah.
The last question I want to ask you before we wrap up is, a lot of people, there's some people that watch this that might want to do what you do or something like what you do, and they might be younger or older, any age. What would you suggest? Where would you suggest to start, and what advice would you give them?
Oh yeah, do it. Just do it. It's a big pie, you know. Like I said, the biggest commodity traded globally, coffee. You know, and we're getting better. We haven't peaked in Australia with coffee. There's great opportunities. There's a lot of people out there. I look around the airports. I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
That tells me there's a lot more people out there to walk in the door of a Primal
100%.
Cafe. Follow your dream, follow your passion, and just do it. Do what you love, because it doesn't matter what it is. You go to a market store anywhere. It doesn't matter what it is. If you've got passion doing anything, someone's going to buy it.
Yeah, that's so good.
Absolutely.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Really great advice.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you so much. This has been beautiful, and I love what you guys are doing. I love what you truly are a community cafe, you know, and you are what I'd love this place. I've already decked it out with a roaster.
With a roastery, at least it's aircon.
Yeah. And thank you for staying the course. You know, I know you had the choices. Was a year or so ago to do something different and change course. I think you did. I think you went into a higher gear.
Yes.
We
tried, definitely.
and you do well in everything. Coffee's great. Good roaster out of Melbourne. And that's important.
Yes.
You know, especially coffee anywhere is important, and that's what we need more of.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, you also do barista courses if anybody wants
barista training. And it's from the heart. We will teach you and give you the opportunity to understand how important a cup of coffee is to the global community.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
know, that cup is putting clothing on children, it's putting shoes on, it's medicine to the communities.
Great,
you know,
that's really
so
good.
it's more than just a cup. Karma really is in the coffee cup.
Definitely. Well, thank
Beautiful.
you again. And Dan is in Mackay. If you guys want to go visit Primal,
Come on
highly
down.
recommend.
Yeah.
If you want coffee too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.